If you have a budget around 1200 bucks, let me tell you that you can get yourself a great gaming PC. So if you're willing to build a PC by yourself for this price, this video is going to be for you. But before starting, I want to say that if your monitor it's a 1080p monitor and you're not thinking of getting at least a 1440p one, I do not recommend you this gaming PC because you can get a gaming PC for way less money and you won't notice any difference at all. But if you're looking to play at 1440p or even 4K, this video is the right one for you. But if you're not willing to build the PC by yourself and you want a Prebuilt PC, I have my video about the best Prebuilt PCs of the month in the top right of the screen in case you wanna see that. With that being said, let's start. First, let's talk about the CPU, the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. Now, I used to put the 5600 in these PC builds, but right now it's about a $15 difference between the 5600 and the 5600X, so you may wanna get that extra performance. The reason on why I put the CPU on this PC, first of all, is the motherboard price is way cheaper than Intel, and with the Ryzen CPU GPU combination you can get the smart access RAM technology that I will talk about when we talk about the GPU. But let me tell you that you can get extra FPS for free if you are on an AMD platform, so that and the motherboard are the main reason. Then for the CPU cooler, I picked the ID Cooling SE214XT CPU air cooler. This one has beautiful RGB and it's all that we are going to need for the 5600X. You definitely don't need a liquid cooler at all. And considering that AMD has usually better temps than Intel CPUs, we won't have any issues with this cooler at all. But even if you go with Intel, let's say the i5-12400, this CPU cooler is still a great option for that. Then for the motherboard, I picked the ASRock B550 Pro ATX motherboard. This is an ATX build, meaning that the case is normal sized, it's not a small, so if you have a small desk or you want a small aesthetic, I recommend you going with a micro ATX build, so you will need a micro ATX motherboard and a micro ATX case. But in this case, we are going for a fully sized gaming PC. Then for the memory kit, I picked the Holo-Y Warhawk RGB 16GB of RAM, 2x8 of course, DDR4 3200MHz CL16 memory. This is great for this gaming PC and you don't need more than 16GB just for gaming. However, if you want to play games like Flight Simulator or you want to run some high demanding RAM video games, then I recommend you jumping up to 32GB. But for most people, 16GB is more than enough for most games, even for Flight Simulator. But if you upgrade the RAM to 32GB, you're going to get better results on the 1% lows, meaning that you will have less FPS drops in those type of high demanding video games. Then for the storage, I picked the Crucial P2 1TB of M.2 SSD. Then for the most important part on a gaming PC, we have the GPU or the graphics card. I picked the MSI Radeon RX 6800. This one has 16GB of VRAM, which right now it won't make a huge difference between, let's say, 8GB of VRAM and 16GB of VRAM for gaming, but maybe in the future it will, so that's a nice to have. And like I said before, because you get the Ryzen 5 5600X, which is from AMD, and you get this AMD GPU, you will get access to this AMD technology, this smart access RAM technology, and will give you a nice FPS boost on your games. Now, if you want to go for Nvidia, you can go for the RTX 3070, which is around $50 cheaper, and you will get a great performance at 1440p as well. If you're looking for a 4K gaming PC build, then I do not recommend you going for the 3070, even though it can game at 4K in some games, but you will have some limitations. But for 1440p, the 3070 is more than enough, and it's cheaper than this one. But for a $1200 PC build, the 6800, it's an excellent GPU in terms of price to performance. Then for the case, I picked the Lian Li Langcool 215 ATX mid-tower case. This one has a beautiful front mesh panel with 2 RGB fans, which by the way, these are big fans. You can change the color, it's easy to build in, and you get great airflow out of the box, meaning that you don't really need to add more fans to have better airflow on this case. You can change the exhaust fan if you want more RGB, but in terms of CPU, GPU and this whole PC temps are going to be just fine out of the box, so you don't have to worry about any of that at all. And last but not least, the power supply. I wanted a power supply that was upgradable but not too expensive, so we don't surpass the $1200 mark. So I went with the EVGA GD 2019 700W 80+ power supply. I decided to go with a safer option, a 700W power supply, in case you need to upgrade the CPU down the line or you want to upgrade major components. A 700W power supply, it's going to be enough. However, if you want to upgrade the GPU to, let's say, something like the 3090, I recommend you going for an 850 80+ core power supply, or even more depending on the things that you want to upgrade in the future. So ask to yourself if you will need the best components down the line, because we don't actually know how power hungry the new GPUs are going to be, and they are rumored to be really power hungry, so keep that in mind. So that was the whole build. If you found it helpful, leave a like and subscribe, but most importantly hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content, which by the way, I have a bunch of PC builds for different budgets on my channel, so I do recommend you going throughout the channel and see the right one for your budget. But you have to bear in mind that this market changes every day, so maybe this PC is $1,200 today by the time that I'm recording this video, but tomorrow it's $1,300 or $1,100, so I don't actually know the exact price that it's going to be by the time that you're watching this video. I hope that it's still $1,200 or even less, but if it's not my fault. It's basically the market changing every day, and for that reason I recommend you leaving your budget down below in the description, and I will help you out with your perfect PC build or even Prebuilt PC if you want, so you get my latest recommendation, or like I said before, hit the bell button so you get notified when I upload my recommendations. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.